6'6" was the max height that you could get on a PG, and most of those cards had a serious flaw on them somewhere, right? Like Lonzo, like whether it be interior defense or speed or lack of range extender. But Justise Winslow is coming at us looking like a really, really good card right after the extraordinarily cheap Isaac Bonga did the same thing. So I wanted to first show the height comparison because Justise Winslow is listed as 6'7", and Bonga is listed as 6'8". So the first thing we want to cover is that height difference. And what you can see here is that Bonga's arms are noticeably longer than Justise Winslow's arms. The height is actually fairly negligible in the sense that Bonga's head is a lot higher than Winslow's head, like the top of his head. But as they once said, I've heard the expression, you don't block shots with your head. So it's really that wingspan that we're looking at, and you can see right there. You see right there, Bonga has a fairly noticeable, significant wingspan advantage. But does he have an animation or attribute or badge advantage? That's what we're going to look at as well. So first, let's break down what Winslow's bringing to the table. I'll not make that substitution. What is going on? All right. So first things first. He's got a 93 three-point shot. This is coach boosted. So I believe he has an identical three-point shot to Bonga. This is with, I believe, D'Antoni. Yeah, they both coming in at a 93 three-pointer. It's an 89 with no shoe, no coach, 93 with the coach, and obviously with a shoe, you can get that up to 96, which is elite. So no complaint. And then you add floor general, and they basically can have a 99 three. All right. So the driving layup's 96. The driving dunk is a 90, which is excellent. Let's see what Bonga's coming out with. I think his might be lower. So Bonga's coming in at a lower dunk with the 85. So those 5 points are fairly big when it comes to dunking. 85 is the important thing to get to because you want to get over that marker of being able to do contact dunks so that they probably have a contact dunk package. But when we look at the dunks, we'll see if Winslow has an advantage there. So the next thing we want to look at is the interior defense and the speed. So we see the post fade is a 62, nothing remarkable. And because he's shorter, I would anticipate he's probably about equal to the level of post player that Bonga is, which is not a great source for them. See the rebounding numbers, again, kind of similar to that pink diamond LeBron James. Interior defense is at 81, though. That's fantastic. Fantastic interior defense. The perimeter defense is a 91, and the steal is a 94, which is outstanding. Let's look at Bonga's steal real quick. So his steal is a little lower. Interior defense is just about the same now. So you see these guys are very, very close, despite the fact that Winslow is a pink diamond and Bonga is an amethyst card. So we see 95 lateral quickness and a 96 speed. And we're going to compare to Bonga real quick. And we see here, same thing. Maybe a little slightly slower in lateral quickness, not a difference I anticipate you'll notice too much, and a 96 speed as well. 92 speed with ball for Bonga and a 90 vert with 92 acceleration and 75 strength. And we're going to flip right over and look at Justise Winslow. So he's scoring better in all of those categories. And you look at it's equal or better in most of those categories. Look at that strength rating. What's Bonga's strength rating? So he comes in 7 points higher on the strength rating, which I do think that's going to be significant because that probably, in terms of post-ups, makes up for that height disadvantage. All right, let's look at these badges. So first things first, these shooting badges. Hall of Fame catch and shoot, Hall of Fame corner, and here we go, with the quick draw and range extender on gold, just like Bonga. So he's not going to be superior in terms of the capability, but we're also going to look at that shot animation because that's what's just as important as the actual badges. So here we have Hall of Fame clamps, intimidator, interceptor. These are so. First of all, guys, I'm comparing these two cards. I'm not telling you what to pick up, but I just figure for market awareness, it's good for you guys to know. But let me say, these are both very, very good cards for relatively cheap, right? Like Pink Diamond LeBron is going for, what's up, Spatial Jones in the chat? Pink Diamond LeBron is going for almost still like upwards of 260. I see him going for right now. In this card, I got him for 100K flat, and Bonga's like, I mean, depends on the time of the day, how long you're in the snipes. He could be anywhere from 3 to 6K, something like that, depending on time of day, whatever, right? So he has Hall of Fame Intimidator, Hall of Fame Interceptor, Hall of Fame Pick Dodger, Hall of Fame Pickpocket. This card is an excellent, elite defensive card, and he has post-move lockdown. Now, that's the important one. Does Bonga have post-move lockdown? All right, so we see here, but this is where Bonga starts to come up really short compared to the Winslow. And when I say really short, Bonga is still a very good defensive card, but it's worth noting that all of these badges that Winslow has, Bonga on Hall of Fame, Bonga has gold, and Bonga also does not have post move lockdown. So it might you got to play the card. Height does matter, but we see they're relatively clear. They're pretty close in height. Bonga has the wingspan, which might actually make him better at steals than Winslow, because wingspan goes a long way when it comes to steal. What's up, B. Wilson? But the rest of the defensive things are all in Winslow's favor. So that's absolutely worth noting. So we're going to go back to Winslow here, and now we're going to look at the playmaking badges. So we see here Hall of Fame Dimer, Hall of Fame Downhill, Hall of Fame Floor General, Hall of Fame Quick First Step, and Gold Ankle Breaker, and Hall of Fame Tight Handles. People think Tight Handles is dead. Tight Handles is not completely dead. It's just much less effective than it was before. But if you have Ankle Breaker, Tight Handles, and Space Creator, this guy's missing Space Creator. But if you have those 3 badges and you're a dribbler, you're going to see stun animations from virtually every situation. So ideally, you have a card with all 3, but between the 3 of them, I would put Ankle Breaker 1, probably Space Creator 2nd, and Tight Handles 3rd. But Tight Handles isn't completely irrelevant, especially if you're a dribbler. So we're going to look at Bonga real quick. Same badges, basically. Pretty much exactly. And he actually has gold handles for days, so he's more of a dribbler, and he has Space Creator. So he comes out with the advantage in that situation. So these cards are remarkably close. For those who like the Bonga card and don't have either a starter or a backup, you can kind of play both of these cards and basically be playing the same guy in terms of capability. All right, so now we're going to get to these animations. So I've already gotten a little bit of a look at Winslow. So I'm going to tell you guys right off the bat, his behind the back is not great, very slow. His between the legs is good. I've discussed this in earlier videos, but we revisit it now. This between the legs is not good for giving you a speed boost, but it's excellent for opening you up on the 3-pointer for the 3-pointer and fast break, right? So if you're running at full speed, you go between the legs and you behind the back or pro hezzy, peekaboo if you want to call it that. Either way, you do the hezzy or the peekaboo into a 3-pointer and you're good to go. So that move is great for that. Now, one thing that's fairly unique about Winslow, he doesn't have a trash crossover animation. Guys, I feel like every card I've looked at in the past month has had a really dismissible crossover animation, and his is really strong. So the beautiful thing about when you have a strong crossover animation is that the crossover animation combos. So he can go into a crossover behind the back better than most cards because his crossover is better, right? He can cross over between the legs. That didn't happen at all. He did not listen to my second input. We'll try that again. All right, he doesn't like to do that combo. I think the end of the crossover animation has a lot of frames where you have to put it in really slow, which would mean it's not viable. Yeah, so the between the legs doesn't combo well, but he will have the double crossover, which is also important. Wow, so the speed of his crossover makes you have to cancel later. Normally, I input that really quickly. Wow, yeah, it's really weird. I did the combo before I started recording the video, but he has a very strange cancel window. There it is. It's more paced. It's like 1-2. It's not super fast, and you can't do it super slow. Let me see if I can do it faster. Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't. If you do it too fast, wow, he has a really nice Sham God. He has the tricky one where he goes the same direction. Yeah, wow, yeah, that is actually pretty tricky. So his Sham God is pretty good. His crossover combos, I don't know how reliable they're going to be because his crossover animation window, like to cancel it, is very odd. I did it the first time and didn't think anything of it, but yeah, so it's a kind of a slow, weird one that I would say in the heat of battle, unless you practice this a lot, you might find it to be unreliable. So I'm doing it at a count of like 1-2, but every time I'm a little bit off that 1-2 count, he doesn't combo. So I think that crossover combo has a uniquely finicky cancel frame, so I wouldn't recommend that crossover as a combo move, but as a regular move, it's fantastic. Just combo with that crossover, just like straight up using the crossover in the full court. It comes out very quickly and it moves him in a great direction moving across the paint. All right, so let's get into his half-court dribbles. First, let's look at the step back. He has the wonderful shooter step back, very similar to LeBron James. So the good thing about the step back is if you combo off of tapping the left trigger, he just slides right back into it. And he can change directions with the behind the back, with the momentum crossover. Whatever you want to change directions with, he's going to allow you to change directions with out of that move. right? And obviously, because of the gold range extender, you can also shoot off of that move, which is what makes it very strong. In addition to that, he has the Pro 3 Hezi. So, looking good there. Pro 3 or Pro 1, I don't know which one is which at a glance, but it doesn't matter because they both allow you to do the same things, which is this quick change of direction and the spamming in the one direction, and also canceling very easily into the jump shot. And you have those branches. I've made a ton of videos on that. Very strong, one of the most powerful tools as a dribbler in my team. Okay, so let's see what else he's got. So this is momentum crossover. Give me 1 second. Apologize. It's the benefits of live video. There we go. Okay. So this is his momentum. His momentum is solid. It's not super fast. In fact, I would say it's actually a little on the slower side. So this momentum is definitely an in the pinch momentum crossover. This is not shake people up over and over momentum crossover. He has kind of a big delay there. And that's his momentum between the legs. Too slow for any kind of, you know, killer crossover shenanigans. However, his momentum is going to combo very nicely into his step back. So I would say it only combos okay into the step back. So oddly enough, this character has a really nice crossover, but he has a kind of a bad momentum crossover. I would say it's a lower tier momentum crossover. See there, he has the behind the back teleport, which is always great. Nice to pull out in a pinch, especially when you get those offensive rebounds start running out, see people chasing you, go right back in, get the dunk. That's super effective in TTO. People still to this day don't really see it coming. All right, so let's look at the rest of his dribble. So this is standard between the legs. His between the legs is actually kind of solid. It starts up a little slow, but he explodes out of it very well. Definitely not something I would say you want to use, you know, the way you would use with the Westbrook or Jimmy Butler, but it's okay. His behind the back is pretty good. Like Will Barton, he moves out of it very smoothly. And the nice thing about moving out of that behind the back is you can get really nice misdirections off this behind the back, and it's a very easy move, very reliable. So I recommend, if you're using this card, to experiment with just like, if you're behind the screen, just launch right out of that behind the back. Just put the ball behind your back and go the direction you want. And you might find that that's a good way to you know, get out of trouble, and he can misdirect out of that move very easily. Let's see. So that's his regular behind, you know, his momentum behind the back. Now I will say his explosive behind the back is good enough that, I mean, his between the legs is good enough that he can do combos out of this explosive behind the back. Okay, but it's a little on the slow side. So with this card, he's almost like LeBron James with a Pro 3 Hezi to a degree, right? Like he can Pro 3 around the perimeter, and he can also, you know, step back around the perimeter, but besides that, he really doesn't have much going on. His behind the back is pretty smooth. You know, his explosive behind the back is pretty smooth, but again, he's not the trickiest card in the world. So let's see his this is his size up dribble, which is pretty slow. I would say to the point of being unusable. I wouldn't recommend that one. Oh yeah, that was another one. I haven't been talking to you guys about this particular combo, but when people have a slow between the legs, sometimes it's better to just do momentum behind the back and combo out of that, because it'll just be faster. And his is pretty fast, so that's a nice substitute for the killer crossover, and it's a nice way to dance behind screens. I forgot who I was watching. I think it might have been Splash Edition, but he was doing a lot of momentums behind screens, and you see there, that's another combo he was doing behind screens. It's a nice way to get you going. And you can between the legs right out of that, off of that combo. So that one's pretty good too. Really effective behind screens to kind of hop back and forth left and right like that and explode out of it. Yeah, he can do the Sham God cancel. That's the one I'm always referring to when I talk about the behind the back. It's just the input is the behind the back. That's why I call it the behind the back. But yes, the Sham God cancel. His Sham God cancel is not the best. In fact, we'll experiment right now. Let's see his Sham God to behind the back rather than between the legs. Okay, so that's a little better for him. In fact, I would say that's much better for him. Is if you're doing Sham God cancels, to go behind the back rather than between the legs, because that's a little faster, and you can explode out of that. It's not super fast though. Honestly, it's not a go-to game for him. All right, let's check out his whoopty speed. That is his. I can't talk today, guys. This is his Peekaboo Speed, which is very fast actually. Not the shot itself, but his Peekaboo. He can start the Peekaboo from very early in the animation. Like you can actually do it before the ball touches the ground. So usually the Peekaboo counts almost in terms of like as it's on the way up, you see it disappear. But him, he cancels it really, really early with his animation package. You see that there? So he can go right into it. So that's a big positive for this character. And I would say with that move, he's probably better than LeBron with that move. For comparison's sake, we're going to look at Bonga, who I also liked his cancel better than LeBron's as well. LeBron jumps really high, and his dribbles are a little on the sluggish side. See, and you see Bonga's I would say is better than Winslow's though. Oh yeah, let's look at the hot zones. These are Bonga's hot zones compared to Winslow's. I do think hot zones kind of matter a lot in this game, to be honest with you, especially in my team, because you'll see that with the hot zones. Okay, so he has more 3-point hot zones, which is great. Sometimes when you're getting those full whites, if you take those shots in your hot zones, they'll drop a lot more. So he's looking good in terms of that. Look at another one, and it's because he has a Pro 3 Hezi, you can also do the Pro into that, which gives you more options as a dribbler, because if you see somebody coming, you can just cancel out of it instead of having to shoot, right? So this card is solid as a dribbler. He has his pluses, he has his minuses. He's usable. I would say the number one thing I don't like about it is he just doesn't have one super strong move that you can rely on outside of canceling out of the step back. Canceling out of the step back should be great for you guys to create space. Everything else is honestly second tier or worse as far as this card goes. All right, now we're going to start looking at his dunk animations. So that was an interesting Statue of Liberty dunk. We're going to look at strong hand dunks real quick. And I ran all the way around the world. There we go. Okay, so it doesn't look like he has the baseline reverse dunk package. We'll look at that again in a second. Okay, not the greatest dunker in the world. So that's one thing I would give LeBron over both of these guys. LeBron has a signature dunk package, and that dunk package, a very nice left-handed dunker. So he is a left-handed player, so you might want to rely on his strong hand dunks. But see, there's a gather on the strong hand dunks, which I don't like at all. Might not know about this card as a dunker. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, full head of steam, left hand. His dunks are really good. We're going to switch hands. Not too bad of a gather. Not too bad of a gather when he's switching hands. I like it. So we're going to see switching hands from the right hand, which is his weak hand, to his strong hand. Big gather on that. I would say never do that. If you've got the ball in your right hand, either go up with the right, and we're going to check his flashies right now. Very nice flashy. So he has LeBron James. He has one of LeBron James's flashy dunks, which is great. That's good news for him. We're going to check out forward on the stick. Let's see if he has another LeBron dunk. He does. So this guy has a bunch of LeBron's dunks in his dunk package, which is great. Let's look at Bonga back to back. From what I recall, I didn't love Bonga's dunk package. I didn't hate it, but I definitely didn't find it to be on par with LeBron. But we can see here, like Bonga's wingspan is just crazy. Yeah, so that's his dunk package there, and we're going to look at his flashy. See if he has any of these dunks. Yeah, he doesn't have the same. He doesn't have the LeBron dunk package hiding in there the way Winslow does. Yeah, his are definitely different. Again, not horrible. He's usable as a dunker, but I would guess Winslow's probably better. Between the higher dunk ratings and a few of those LeBron dunk animations sneaking around in there, I would say he's probably the better dunker between the two. Try to hop dunk from too far out. Let's try that again. Okay, that's one hop dunk. Spatial Jones in the chat says Winslow has defensive takeover, which I love. That is great. That is fantastic, especially in my team when, you know, I mean, a lot of people don't like off-balling, but fact of the matter is, if a CPU, oh wow, he did a windmill off the hop dunk. I don't know if I've seen that one, guys. He just did a windmill off of a hop dunk. That's awesome. So if you have a CPU character with defensive takeover, people are probably not even going to mess with that character. So I love that. We're going to look at him bursting out of the triple threat, and then we're going to look at his layup packages, and I'm going to give a little wrap-up on the card. Okay, so that was pretty slow out of the triple threat. Let's check out another one. I didn't talk about his shot animation, but I like it very much. I greened a lot with his shot. Okay, very explosive going to the same way. I've greened a lot with his shot. So I think he has a good shot animation. It's not the fastest. It's definitely a goal quick draw shot. It's not on par with a Hall of Fame quick draw or anything like that. But for a 6'7" point guard, pretty good. Who's an elite dunker and an elite defender, pretty good. Pretty good. All right, yeah, that LeBron James dunk package is in there. I would put him as a better dunker over Bonga based on their dunk packages and ratings. Now, I haven't played a lot of them. I haven't played both of them a whole lot. So in game, you might see something else, but that's what I'm getting from here. All right, so we're going to look at the layup packages. Oh, he's got that same layup package where they throw the ball at the rim. Yeah, Carson Cruz saying he thought he had some better dribbles. Yeah, he doesn't have a single dribble that I'm like, this is the thing you want to do all the time. He's just a solid card that's an opportunistic scorer. I would definitely say he's more of a, you know, catch and go situational scorer than somebody who's really going to boogie on people. That's an interesting floater. Definitely not the kind of card that I gravitate towards. I did specifically pick this card up to look at it with, you know, with you guys and see if I liked it. As a dribbler, I'm gonna just play around with Bonga a little bit before I wrap this up. Because the Bonga review, I haven't played with Bonga since doing the review, but he is bigger. Let's get that out of the way. Like, Bonga is definitely bigger. So Bonga doesn't have the behind the back teleport, but Bonga has a much better momentum dribble. Like, honestly, Bonga's momentum dribble is enough to carry him outright. Let's look at Bonga's step back here. So Bonga has a worse step back, so that's also worth noting. Let's see his between the legs, and he has a worse between the legs too. Yeah, his behind the back's okay, but it's slow. It's slow. I said it's okay, but I take it back. It's pretty bad. So I don't know. They're both not guys I look at as like great dribblers and playmakers. I think they're both kind of lower budget LeBron options where if you want to free up the MT, you can use these guys and they're going to be just as good at passing, just as good at shooting, just as good at generally rim running, although I think LeBron is probably a better dunker than both of them. And he's definitely a better post-up player than both of them. I don't know if that's enough to keep that MT in your account in LeBron right now. Like, LeBron's probably going to get cheap pretty soon. No, I won't say pretty soon. This isn't a prediction channel. But I will say between the two of them, and he doesn't have the Pro 3 Hezi. So I don't like that either. So Spatial Jones asked in the chat if he can do the between the leg side switch. We're going to find out right now. Where did I put him at? Yeah, it's kind of like, I view both of these cards as more like, you know, you can, if you want the cheaper option, then Bonga's going to be your guy. So no, he doesn't have the between the leg side switch. So no, he doesn't have that either. He does his misdirection is okay, but it's not, because he's slow, like coming off the dribble, because he's not explosive coming off the dribble. His between the legs is almost too slow to like really get much use out of it, because he just doesn't move quickly enough from the between the legs to like get people going. Like when you look at Westbrook and Jimmy Butler, when they put that ball between their legs, they're kind of gone, which makes the defender commit. Whereas with this guy, I don't know if he's really getting that commitment out of the defender because of how long it takes him to set up. Like, he's very, very sluggish out of the setup. So yeah, I mean, this card is solid. I don't think he's worth 100K, especially with Bonga on the market, unless you're just saying, well, I like big point guards. I don't want to shell out for LeBron, so I'll shell out for this guy instead. I think for most people, this card will probably be roughly equal to LeBron, because most people don't take the time to work on all of the, there you see the misdirection there, to work on all of LeBron's ball handling to like master him. But I do think LeBron is just more of a bully than both of these cards. So I would pick LeBron first. I don't know. It's sick because Bonga is an amethyst card and Winslow is a pink diamond. But I'm kind of torn between the two of them because they both have like the equal amount of pluses and minuses. They both have like, well, Winslow has a great step back, which is nice, and you can combo that out of anywhere, and I find that to be a really usable move. But he doesn't have as good of a way to get out of it as most cards who have that step back. You know, his momentum is slow, his between the legs is slow, his behind the back isn't extraordinary. It's like the best one he has, and he has this kind of hop before it. So even though he has this, and you guys know how much I like that move, he doesn't really have anything that he can do out of it that I particularly love. I'm going through all of his dribbles, and nothing out of it seems like super great. Yeah, so even though he has that move, I don't feel like it's as strong with Winslow as it is with other cards. And to be totally honest, I'm definitely going to be selling this Winslow at the closing of this video. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for me. So that's my comparison. That's the full breakdown. LeBron is still slightly better than both of these cards, but for the price, I don't think he's better enough that I would keep him. If I just needed one of those cards in my lineup, I would buy the Bonga and call it a day. But I do think that Winslow is good enough that if you just ran him and Bonga as your 1 and 2 at the point guard position, you still are coming out with 150 more MT than you are by having LeBron in your lineup. And this is just you know, my personal opinion. I think LeBron is due for a new card pretty soon, so this might be the time to get out of the LeBron market with Winslow and Bonga being here as a stopgap. The one danger I would say is I don't know how long this Winslow is going to stay high in price. So, you know, if you have this Winslow, get what you can out of him, but he might be getting real cheap real soon. So even if you like this Winslow, you might just want to wait it out, and you'll get yourself a pretty good card when the market on him comes down a little bit. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. Please like and subscribe. I will see you all in the next one, and peace.